on Namaprad Pramad, and we saw from Srila Prabhupada quotations what exactly is an Nama Aparad, inattention while chanting. And we did the exercise by which we could understand what exactly is a offense. So now we'll go to Sri Harinam Chintamani, chapter 12, Namaprad Pramad, inattention while chanting. Namaprad Pramad, to be inattentive while chanting the holy name. Jaya Jaya Mahaprabhu Jaya Bhaktagan. Yandera Prasaday Kari Nama Sankirtan. Any one of you can recite Prabhuji's, one from Prabhuji's side, one from Mataji's side.
Jaya Jaya Mahaprabhu Jaya Bhaktagan. Jaya Jaya Mahaprabhu
Prabhuji's. Jaya Jaya Mahaprabhu Jaya Bhaktagan. Glory, glory, Jaya Jaya to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu. Glory to his devotees, Jaya Bhaktagan. Yandera Prasad Kari, by Lord Chaitanya's mercy, Kari Nama Sankirtan, that I chant the holy names. So after this invocation verse, from verses 2 to 5, the theme is Pramad Namake Aparad, inattention as an offense. So we saw Prabhupada's definition from the quotation, what exactly is a offense. So now Bhaktivinoda Thakur first, how inattention is an offense, he is establishing. Already Prabhupada established, but he is going to establish. हरिदास बोले प्रभु है सनातन आरता गोपाल भट्ट दक्षिण ब्राह्मणे शिखाइले अप्रमादे श्री कृष्ण भजन प्रमादे के अपराध करिला गणन. Haridas Thakur said, Haridas बोले, O Lord, Prabhu, you taught to Sanatan Goswami, Heta Sanatana, and while traveling in the south to Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Arata Gopal Bhatta Dakshine, Brahmana, that one should not be inattentive in worshipping. Krishna Bhajana, Sri Krishna Bhajana, Shikaila Apramade. Inattention is counted as a offense. Pramada ke aparad karila ganan. So inattention is also counted as a offense. Inattention is also counted as a offense. In any sphere of life, when the boss is speaking to his, subjects, and if the subject is inattentive, then the boss will take it as an offense. And the teacher is teaching the student and the student's attention is somewhere else, then the teacher will reprimand it. So it's natural. So similarly, inattention is also counted as a offense. Now it is interesting, we chant every day from the Padma Puran the 10 offenses to the holy name. Right? In that 10 offenses list, it is not there. And then we say it is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Right? So sometimes devotees ask question, where? But in the 10 list, this is not there. Yes? Naturally, this question comes. So here the answer is there. The answer is inattention is also counted as an offense. It is counted as an offense. Now, Where the Lord taught Sanatan Goswami, it is there in the Sanatan Shiksha, Chaitanya Charitamrit, which is from chapters 20 to 23. So there is one verse. Lord Chaitanya said to Sanatan Goswami, Chaitanya Charitamrit Madhya Ek ang sadhe kahe sadhe bahu ang nishtag haile upajaya premera tarang. Eka anga sadhya. When one is firmly fixed in devotional service, whether he executes one eka anga, bahu anga, or many processes of devotional service, the waves of love of Godhead will awaken. Nishta hoile upajaya premara tarang. So when Mahaprabhu is teaching devotional service, he gives the definition of sadhana bhakti, definition of Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, definition of raganuga sadhana bhakti, and then he explains the angas of sadhana bhakti and whether one executes one limb or many limbs. But when all he does with attention, then what happens? Upajaye premera tarang. It will lead to ultimately love of Godhead. Now, where the Lord has taught Gopal Bhatta Goswami, even I am not aware. I am also trying to figure out that where is that teaching for Sanatan, for Gopal Bhatta Goswami. But here it is mentioned. Anna aparad taji sada namaloy tabu name prema nahi hoyata uday. Avoiding the other offenses, one may regularly chant the holy name and still not attain pure love for the holy name. So one might avoid all the other offenses and still one is not attaining love of Godhead. Then one has to investigate what is the reason. Tabe jani pramada namete aparad preme bhakti sadhanete karyache bad. Then you have to understand, I know this offense as pramad, inattention. It blocks the attainment of pure devotional love. So if you are avoiding the 10 offenses and you are chanting the holy name and still love of Godhead is not awakened, then you should understand that you are committing an offense called inattention or pramad. It is because of pramad, love of Godhead is not manifesting. Now, let's do a japa exercise. Everyone is there with their bead bags here. Now, this is one of the sutras to avoid inattention while chanting. Because if you are inattentive, then it is a pramad, right? So this is the sutra, one mantra, one bead. So let us hear this very carefully, try to understand, and then after this exercise, when the first time I conducted this workshop, after this exercise was over, and after all the devotees went back to their respective places, they all gave me a feedback and told, Prabhuji, before we were doing very good in our chanting, but after this exercise, we have become very miserable. Why? Because they understood that what they were doing was all offense. And now they have realized how to chant properly. And they are struggling and battling. And they know that already I have studied that what is a offense and what is how to chant. So before everyone was telling me that, we used to complete our rounds very quickly. But after this exercise, the next day itself, everyone told me that it is taking time to finish one round. So why it is taking that time, we will understand now. So let us go to what Prabhupada has to say about this. Okay? So hear very carefully. Krishna conscious movement means that we are teaching our disciples how to think of Krishna 24 hours. Prabhupada's definition of Krishna consciousness. You should think about Krishna 24 hours. This is Krishna consciousness. So if you want to know what is Krishna consciousness, this is Krishna consciousness. Now for your kind information, in the Vara Puran it is mentioned what is Samadhi. Now if one is able to hold on to one thought or gaze at an object for even 12 seconds, that is Dharan. And 12 into 12 is Dhyan. And into 12 is Samadhi. And that comes to somewhere around 24 minutes. That is 24 minutes. That is the definition of Samadhi. 24 minutes if you're absorbed. That is, you have attained the state of Samadhi. Now for your kind information, let me tell you, when you're chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, you're trying to focus your consciousness in hearing the mantra. And if you divert your attention to something else to do, like you take your mobile and see what is the message and reply. Now to come back to your chanting, it will take at least half an hour. How much? Half an hour. And if you're continuing to chant, what is the result? You can think about it. So forget this 24 hours, think about 24 minutes at least. Okay? And the simple method is to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. So this is the process. We have got this bead bag, and with this bag there is beads. So everyone has their bead bags? Yes? The beads are there? Okay. We chant we capture each bead and chant. So we have to capture what? We have to capture what? Each bead. Be with your beads. We have to capture what? Each bead. Okay? And then Prabhupada is saying, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Okay. Hold on now. Each bead equals 16 times. Okay, please understand what Prabhupada is saying. You have to capture these beads for how much time? 16 times. 16 times means what? 16 times means what? The 16 words of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. That is the 32 syllables. Till then, you should hold on to that bead only. This is what Prabhupada is trying to say. So the whole bead chain, there are 108. So one round means 1700. So there is this one bead you have to capture. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. You have to capture, just like you capture a picture, you have to keep the camera still. Then you can capture, then the image is very clear, right? So you have to capture one. And like that, when you go after another 108, 108 into 16 is 1728. Prabhupada is saying 1700, okay? In this way, our disciples are advised to chant at least 16 rounds. This is our daily duty. How much you should chant?
At least 16.
At least 16. Not 16. At least. That means at least 17 you should chant. At least is there, right? It takes about 2 hours. And after that, we are engaged in so many other businesses. Somebody is typing or printing books, somebody is going to sell books, somebody is collecting subscriptions, somebody is cooking for the temple, DT, Radha Krishna. So in this way, our inmates or our members are always engaged. Kirtanya Sada Hari. This is Prabhupada's lecture from the Bhagavatam. Now, based on this foundation, what Prabhupada said, let us go to our exercise. Chanting should be done early in the morning with full concentration, preferably during the Brahma Muhurat time. Concentrate fully on the sound vibration of the mantra, pronouncing each name distinctly, and gradually your speed in chanting will increase naturally. So please mark, you have to concentrate fully on the sound vibration. Now, the pronunciation is the last part which we will take tomorrow evening because it is a very subtle science. So, that we will discuss tomorrow evening. And Prabhupada is saying, pronounce distinctly the mantra and then gradually the speed in chanting will increase. And that will also increase how? Naturally. Now, what happens to us is unnatural, and we will discover that very soon. Do not worry so much about chanting fast. Most important is hearing. A devotee should always be grave and silent, which means that he only discusses topics relating to Krishna consciousness. Yes, spend your time chanting and reading and taking Krishna Prasadam, and automatically your tongue will come under control. If you sincerely engage 24 hours daily in devotional service according to the instructions of the spiritual master, chanting daily 16 rounds, attend the Aarti ceremony of Lord Krishna, associate with the devotees, and adhere strictly to the regulatory principles, then Krishna will reveal himself personally to you. Then, he says. Now, based on this, now we are going to do an exercise. The mantra is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Now, it was one of my experiences that once I was driving with a sannyasi in a BMW car. You know what's a BMW car? And we were driving to the airport. And, I was sitting in the front with the driver. The sannyasi was sitting backside, and we had nothing to discuss. And because the driver was driving very fast at 100 speed, I thought it's difficult to read. So I was just chanting softly, which I don't do. And the sannyasi said, we have to reach the airport fast. He said, the driver, increase the speed. A moment from 100, he took the gears to 140, the speed to 140. And I was chanting at a pace, at one pace, when the car was moving at 100 kilometers per hour. But moment he increased the speed and to 140, what happened to my chanting speed? Increased. And suddenly I was taken aback. Mate, I am here only sitting. Why did I, respond to that? Similarly, the three modes, sattva, rajas and tamas, are psychological forces which are acting on the mind. So when we begin chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, there is the vibration of the mantra with the tongue. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. There is the movement of the tongue for chanting the 16 words. And there is the movement of the fingers. Now, which can move faster? Raise your hands to answer. Which can move faster? Yes, Prabhuji. Finger. You do chanting? Yeah. The fingers can move faster. So what happens is we are chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Why? Because the psychological forces, the mode of passion are acting on us. And there is faster movement. So this kind of chanting is chanting in the mode of passion. And as Prabhuji was describing, somebody had asked that question. Who had asked that question in the first session? Some mantras, if we have not heard, should we chant them? That means their chanting is in the mode of ignorance. So we have to hear the present mantra which we are chanting. Now, it requires immense spiritual potency to just hold on to one mantra. You need what? Immense spiritual potency to just hold on to one mantra and not go ahead. Try it out and you'll be exhausted. It really requires immense potency to just hold on to one mantra because you need mode of goodness for that. Now, in our Belgaum temple, we have the Gokuldham farm. And this farm is in complete goodness. And anyone coming from the city, moment he comes in this environment, he collapses. Because he cannot handle the mode of goodness. He collapses means he goes to sleep. So much is the mode of goodness because we are active in the cities, One, very senior brahmachari, he came morning 8 o'clock and collapsed, and next day morning 8 o'clock he got up. Because, the mind is active, mode of passion, and suddenly so much of goodness, that goodness calms your mind down and you go to samadhi. So similarly, I was saying that it requires immense spiritual potency to just hold on to one mantra and not go ahead. Now, I will not mention which temple because it is a very famous temple and devotees might little be taken aback if I tell the temple name. This is actual experiment done. Are you chanting 108 mantras in one round? So this was an experiment. This is an Excel sheet which we made. So in one mantra, there are 16 words. You should utter all the 16, correct? Second mantra, all the 16. And like that, 108 into 16 is 1728. 1728, sorry. 1728. So, in one of the temples, very, very senior devotees, big leaders, Bhakti Shastri teachers, they were leading big congregation. Such leaders, 20 leaders, did an experiment. One devotee did an experiment on all these leaders, and when they were chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, they recorded the chanting. They recorded the chanting. And this recording was heard and they ticked whether they are chanting 16 names in one mantra and whether they are chanting 108 mantras in one round. None of them fulfilled that criteria. Somewhere 80, somewhere 90. Because what is happening? The beads are moving ahead. The beads are moving ahead. And those who are in the Grahast family, Prabhujis can do this experiment, Matajis can record, and Matajis can do the experiment, Prabhujis can record, but they should not be conscious that the recording is done. If they are conscious, then they will try to chant, carefully. They should not be conscious that the recording is done. And for your kind information, it will take years for you to come out of this first experiment, what I tell you. It will take years, not few months. When you start chanting like this, because it requires mode of goodness first, and then, the mind, because the Rajaguna is acting, it is pushing you to go ahead. You have to keep yourself still. It is a great tapasya. It's a great tapasya. But this is what is actually chanting one mantra at a time in the mode of goodness means. So for this, I have what is called as the ratchet and the pawl mechanism. Those who are from the engineering background will understand this ratchet and pawl mechanism. You can see what is happening. Actually, here only a little bit movement is there, but the gear can move one full round, and then the pawl will hook onto the next teeth, right? So similarly, start putting this in your practice, that when you chant one mantra, you lock this mantra. So how do you lock this mantra? You lock this mantra here until you utter the 16th word. You lock this mantra here and don't move ahead. So I'll show you. You can always massage the beads because that's good. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So lock it. Don't allow it to go ahead. So let us all practice chanting one attentive mantra. Take out your beads. Okay? Okay? जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. I just chanted 8 mantras. So now you know how to lock the mantra. I just told this ratchet and pawl mechanism. You just hook on till in the end of that bead and don't allow till you utter the 16th word of the mantra. Don't try to go ahead. And while doing this exercise, you will get exhausted because it requires immense spiritual potency to just hear one mantra at a time and not go ahead. So the mind is always affected by the modes of passion and ignorance. Passion means you're going ahead, ignorance means you're reflecting on the past. So this exercise is how we chant one attentive mantra. Okay? Any questions up till now related to what we have discussed only? Any questions? Is the mic there? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. We don't have a long time for doing question or discussion because I have to finish the syllabus also. But okay, let us take. Yes. Is it relevant to only this discussion up till now? What's the question? Let us hear.
So, how we have to hold on to one Mahamantra. So, when we chant, if we are consciously when we are chanting, for the first two Mahamantras, Because I'm forced to be conscious and I'm going to stick to one Mahamantra. But mind also has its nature to become unconscious. And I want to remain conscious.
The mind is always conscious of something else, then you're unconscious, right?
And we again get into unknowingly either past or
Yes, yes, it happens. That's why I told it will take a lot of efforts to master this and come to a point where you're, chanting, one bead, one mantra. It takes a lot of efforts to master this. You'll have to work on it repeatedly. It's not that, one day, 2 days, few months, it'll happen. No. Moment you become conscious that mind has wandered and I'm not able to focus on that beat and I'm skipping, immediately you'll have to work on it and slowly like this, because it's like there are so many wrong impressions or wrong paintings on this board, and to remove the wrong paintings pictures you'll have to do the right painting. So similarly the right impressions have to be put in the chitta repeatedly so that ultimately those other impressions will, you know they will subside below and the right impressions will come. And once the right impressions in the form of habit has come over a period of practice, then you attain some steady state. Till then you'll have to work on it. Is it okay? Yes, Prabhuji. Similar question. Okay. Yes. No. No other questions to be taken now. Only one, two, three, four.
Sometimes what happens, like when chanting, as you said, one beat at a time, and we have to hear one mantra. Sometimes what happens when we become uncomfortable, our beats become fall down. Then what to do? Then we have to start from gradually taking it towards peace. But still, it's not a bit uncomfortable to chant.
Okay. Give him the mic.
Generally, we have been taught to hold this bead like this, middle finger and the thumb. But this ring here, we add, this hold is very good, I think.
But we are not supposed to do that. We are not supposed to do that. Yes. Okay. Now, what you would like to do? Tell me. No, no. Give the mic to him. What you would like to do?
usually I used to start from instrument.
Okay. That's a good thing to do. Okay. Fine.
During this last exercise, the focus was more on that I'm doing one mantra, that I'm on the mantra also. The probability of doing further reduced.
It requires practice. Just like while learning driving, your consciousness is caught. Where is the gear? Where is the clutch? Left is clutch, middle is brake, right is accelerator. So your consciousness is always caught up in these things. But as you learn driving and you've mastered the art of driving, then it all goes into an autonomous mode. Where is the gear. You need not look. Oh, this is second. This is first. And then you can interact with your friend, have heart to heart discussions. At the same time, you're driving. But oh, there is something you need to pay attention. Then your consciousness goes there, and you're not heard what the discussion is happening because your consciousness is focused now what is happening in the front. And then you'll ask, oh, what happened? What you were saying? Can you repeat? So similarly, initially, it might require efforts. But right now you're sitting here, you're conscious of the sound vibration which is coming from the mic in the discussion, but you're also conscious, that I'm uncomfortable, you know, the chata is paining or my legs are paining. So many things are happening in the consciousness. But the primary consciousness is focused on hearing. So similarly, these other aspects are there, you know but the main thing should be hearing, but the other thing is also important for us. Yes, because that is what is attentive chanting. So we'll have to work on both these aspects. So Again, we'll not go into the philosophical aspect of it, but I think that is suffice. Okay, let's go to the next section. Now, after explaining, I know this is an offense and it blocks the attainment of pure devotional service. We did this exercise of how to chant one attentive mantra. Now, Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions Anavadanike Pramada Bole. Inattention is known as Pramad. In verse 6 he speaks. Pramada Navadane ei mula arth iha haite ghate prabhu sakala anarth. The root meaning of pramad is inattention. Ei mula arth. O Lord, Prabhu, from inattention all the anarthas come. Iha haite ghate prabhu sakala anarth. So if you work on this inattention and chant your rounds attentively, you will never commit the 10 offenses at all. You will never commit the 10 offenses. So there are different meanings of pramad. Pramad can mean carelessness, negligence, inattention, inadvertence, oversight, intoxication, mad and pramad, drunkenness, fainting, mistake. Among the 4 defects, there is pramad, right? So mistake, accident, durghatna we say, na? Because of inattention. Little lack of inattention and bang. Right? So like that. So here pramada's root meaning is Bhaktivinoda Thakur has taken inattention. Now, 3 prakar avadan. There are 3 types of inattention. Audasinya jad ar vikshepa 18 prakar anavadhana bhujebe praveen. The wise praveen said indifference, audasinya, inertia, jad, and distraction, vikshep, are the 3 kinds of inattention. So which are the 3 kinds of inattention? Audasinya, jad, and vikshep. So what now Bhaktivinoda Thakur is going to do, he is going to explain the science of audasinya. And then how you can become free from audasinya. He is going to explain jad, how to become free from jad. He is going to explain vikshep, how to become free from vikshep. What is the process by which we can become? So that's how Bhaktivinoda Thakur deals. And in the end, he speaks about how we should chant with enthusiasm. And he gives a technique. And that time doesn't permit us to discuss in this workshop, which is summary study. There's an entire technique called as the Utsaha technique, which elaborately we discuss. And that by using that Utsaha technique, we can become free from Audasin, Jad and Vikshep. Okay. Now, these are footnotes Bhaktivinoda Thakur himself is giving. Indifference to devotional service means lack of faith. Inertia means laziness. And distraction means the mind dwelling on other things. So these are the 3 kinds of pramad. Now, I put it here, indifference or no attention means lack of faith and devotional service. Now, to explain, this audasinya, it's a very subtle phenomena. It's a very subtle phenomena. If I'm chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and I know the philosophy that the Lord is not different from the holy name, the Lord is present in the holy name, and I am not paying my attention fully, not paying my attention. We will share the slides in the group. We will share the slides. I am not paying attention. That means what? That means what? Raise your hand. Yes. Lack of faith. It means lack of faith. You are indifferent to the holy name because you lack faith. Now, we wanted to do this in the form of a skit and actually explain, but time again doesn't permit. I'll just explain. Like, so two friends or two devotees in the ashram, they are very good heart-to-heart friends. And suddenly, one day they have a fight regarding some issue. And because of this fight, they have difference of opinion and they fight. And there is now, what? String in the relationship. So when they, come and meet each other, they are in talking terms, but there is a kind of, inside, there is a kind of, indifference you have to that person, right? You are hearing him at the same time, you are completely indifferent, because of that relation. Similarly, is the same psychology working for us with Krishna. And that is there because from time immemorial, what has happened? We have turned our face away from Krishna. So this is the subtle psychology, of Audasini. And you can detect it if you're, a little expert, which of the offenses one is committing, whether it is Audasini or Jad. Audasini to a deeper degree is Jad. Sometimes, I've seen devotees, when you have a strain in the relationship, the person is speaking, you are indifferent to him. You can understand that, behavior. But sometimes, Audasini goes to a higher degree and you are chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. You're completely, like a jad, So, so it's a deeper degree. Audasini to a deeper degree is what? Jad. And this is because of inertia or laziness. It's a psychological phenomena which, I don't think so I'm able to convey to you all. Okay. Third one is the easiest to understand. But it is the last thing among pramad, which is distraction. The thoughts flowing from one object to another object. Or thoughts, the mind is dwelling on some other thoughts. Vikshep. We think most of the time we are battling with Vikshep, but there are subtle phenomena of Audasini and Jad. Okay? Okay. So, this is I did not change the slide. It is, now let's do an exercise. Now, we did the first exercise, which was one bead, one mantra. Right? Now, this is the first exercise we are going to do on how to become free from Audasini. We have to chant one attentive mantra and ultimately one round. So, in this workshop, again in summary, we'll be presenting, the japa exercise is based on posture, pronunciation and prayerful mood. The posture has to do with the body, the pronunciation with the subtle mind, and the prayerful mood of the soul. So there is sometimes this 3 P's: posture, pronunciation and prayerful mood. Okay. So all 3 have to be in alignment. And then the mantra can enter the heart. Now, especially, if you are learning yoga, in the yoga teachers will explain you that when you are doing particularly a asana, like say lifting the leg, okay. Now, along with the lifting of the leg, there is the what? Breathing. By the breathing movement, you can easily lift the leg up. And also what has to be there? Your presence of mind. If your mind is somewhere else, then there is misalignment. And then the asana is not done properly. Okay? I hope you got this point. So, alinger means everything should be in line. Alignment comes from the root word alinger, means everything. Like, the steering is there, and then the steering is connected to the axle, that has to be in line, and then the axle has to be connected to the wheels. So, when all these are in alignment, then the vehicle will move. So, the first gross thing we should take care is the posture. The posture. Now, there is a very interesting quotation. How many of you feel that posture is very important for chanting attentive rounds? How many of you feel? Raise your hands. Of course, this is just not a shastric quotation, but I am just saying of my experience. For Mataji's, you're not yoginis. So, posture is not so much, a criteria for, chanting. Once, there was a drama which Prabhupada was watching, done by his disciples, and it was the Kalya Dhaman Leela. And Mother Yashoda is, on the banks of Yamuna calling out the name of Krishna, in deep suppression. So there was one Mataji disciple who was, acting the role of Mother Yashoda, and she was really crying out from the core of her heart, Krishna. And Prabhupada was watching the drama, and after that he called this Mataji disciple and she said, whenever you chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, you call out Krishna like this only. So ultimately, if you have love of Godhead in the heart, you can lie down also, you can be in any pose, any posture, and you can call out because the name is coming from the heart which has prema. But in the beginning stages, it helps. So in one sense it is no, but it is also yes. It makes a lot of difference. So let us see what Prabhupada has to say. Any comments? Mataji about it? No? Okay. So now let us see the posture alignment of the body. Now you can see here Prabhupada's picture, you can see Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's picture and Bhaktivinoda Thakur's picture. Right? Not even one picture you can see of Prabhupada where he has put his head even little down. It is either straight or little up. Yeah. And in the Bhagavad Gita 6th chapter, which is Ashtanga Yoga, in the Gita Bhushan commentary of Baldev Vidyabhushan, Baldev Vidyabhushan says, one should sit rather than stand or lie on that asana which has been established, since Vedanta says asina sambhavat. One should sit because then meditation is possible. So ours is a japa meditation, dhyan. And you can do japa meditation only by sitting in a asana. And there are only 4 dhyana asanas. There are only 4 dhyana asanas. Anyone knows which are the 4 dhyana asanas? Raise your hands. Raise your hands. Yes, Prabhuji. Padmasana. Vajrasana doesn't come in the 4, but you can use Vajrasana for chanting. Anyone else? Huh? Sukhasana, excellent. Then Padmasana is already being told. Ardha Padmasana is variation of Padmasana. So nobody. So what postures you have been chanting all now for so many days and years? No, Padmasana and Sukhasana. Right? These are the 2 asanas you told. Then which are the other asanas? Dhyanasana. Huh? Gomukhasana. No, that's not a Dhyanasana. Swastikasana, yes. Swastikasana. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is sitting in Swastikasana here. Okay? So Padmasana, Swastikasana, Sukhasana and Siddhasana. Siddhasana. Okay. Now, interestingly, I met a lot of yoga teachers and got into this subject and tried to understand it. So, somebody has to now show here what is a Padmasana, what is a Swastikasana, and what is a Sukhasana, and what is a Siddhasana. Anyone knows all these four asanas? No. Okay. Can you move this? You can move this also. Or move to that side. Now basically, to sit in asana, let me first explain. There is yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahar, dhyan. Right? So in dhyan, asanas. That means you should have mastered asanas. Yam, niyam and asanas. So the standing poses, the stretching poses, all that you master to make the body steady. To make the body steady. So once the body is steady, then you sit in dhyan, then the impressions in the chitta are yoga chitta, nirodha has happened. At least at the gross level, the bodily movements have been mastered, right? They have been mastered. So when you sit in dhyan, there are no chitta impressions which are pushing you to get up and what? Walk. Are you getting this point? Are you getting this point? Yes. So dhyana asana means, you have mastered the body. So that's why learning some yoga asanas helps to regulate your body so that the body becomes what? Steady and still. So that you can attentively sit in dhyanasana, so that you can attentively hear the mantra. I hope the point is clear. Right? So even if you sit in a dhyanasana and you're chanting, what will happen? The mind's voice will say, get up and walk, man. Get up and walk. Because the body wants to move. But by mastering the asanas, you have regulated the body and made the body steady. And only then you can sit in dhyan asanas. So that's why it is very difficult for devotees to sit in one place and chant. It requires great mastery to just sit in one place without just moving even your head. Even for one time, and chant without moving in that asana for 2 hours and chant your 16 rounds. Do you think it is possible? It's very difficult because we have not mastered the asanas. So you stretch your legs completely before sitting in any of the asanas. You stretch your legs, and this portion fits in here. This is Swastikasana. This is the best. There are variants in Swastikasana. Bhaktivinoda Thakur's is a different variant. And this portion goes here. This portion goes here. And this portion is here. Now, because of my dhoti, I'm not able to do, but I usually sit in Swastikasana. Swastikasana is the best asana. And it is always better that you raise something up, because then your hips are up and this is below. So there is no load on the hips. Many devotees who give for long hour classes, because they are sitting in this position, in the Sukhasana, the load comes on the hips and they have a lot of health problems. So in the Sukhasana is very simple. You just sit one leg here, another leg here, that's it. It's Sukhasana. But in the Swastikasana, this sole goes right parallel to the thigh, and the other sole goes parallel to this thigh. This is the Swastikasana. So the Swastikasana is the best, and if you can raise up, then the, what is this portion called? Huh? Not the waist. The joints here, they don't get the load. The hip joints, yes, the hip joints. And Siddhasana is, only recommended mostly for men, where this toe goes below and the other toe comes above, and you can sit. This is the Siddhasana. This is only recommended for men. And the lotus pose Padmasana is very famous. Everyone knows that Padmasana, where the thigh goes on one of the legs and the other thigh also comes on the other leg. Now this is also not recommended because again the load comes on the hips. But by these asanas you can what? You can sit straight. You can sit straight. And let us see what Prabhupada has to say about it. Of course, you will have to practice these asanas under a teacher, and then only you will, be able to sit in these postures. So it is compulsory for Prabhus. No escape. If Matajis can do also, well and good. Otherwise, you can just call out the name of Krishna. As Prabhupada said to one of our disciples. But it is recommended, but no exception for Prabhus. They have to sit in this posture. So let us see what Prabhupada. So this is the Swastikasana. Again, this is a different variant. This is the Padmasana. This is the Sukhasana. And this is the Siddhasana, you can see. So in the Sukhasana and in the Swastikasana, I told you this is a variant. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is sitting in a different Swastikasana. This is another variant. But what I showed is that is the best for our chanting. Okay. Now let us see Shastric quotations for posture. This is one level of exercise. Devotee. Prabhupada, we know that His Divine Grace, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, always sat very erect. And it is stated here in the Bhagavad Gita that one should sit erect. Here in the Bhagavad Gita is specifically 6th chapter. Will this aid us in our concentrating on chanting our japa? If we try to concentrate, if we try to sit erect without any while chanting? So this is the question Prabhupada disciple is asking to Prabhupada. Prabhupada says, no. Interesting answer. Because I mentioned to you that one can sit lying down also and call the name of the Lord. Mother Yashoda did not do any asanas, nor the gopis. They were not yoginis who did meditation. But now let's see what Prabhupada says. It doesn't require any sitting posture. But if you can sit, it helps you. It helps you. If you can sit straight like this, it will be very nice. It can help. Yes, you can concentrate even in chanting and hearing. Therefore, these things are required. So Prabhupada is concluding. He gave the other side of the argument and he gave the one side of the argument. Purva Paksha and Uttar Paksha, and then he established the Siddhanta. It is required. Because it helps, it aids in our practice. So we are not Ashtanga yogis, but sitting in proper posture aids us in hearing and chanting. So it is an assistant to our bhakti. This is called as Sangha Siddha Bhakti. It is called as Sangha Siddha Bhakti. Real bhakti is Shravanam and Kirtanam. But to do Shravanam, if you are in a proper posture, then we can do Shravanam. So that posture helps us to do Shravanam. So it aids. Posture aids us in chant and in hearing the mantra. So we use that as an assistant in our hearing of the mantra. So it is therefore required. Even if you master this gross body sitting posture and try to start chanting, you'll start attracting many souls who will start coming near around you. Prabhuji, what absorption you are chanting the holy name. But actually you are not chanting in absorption. But just because you are sitting in that posture, it will happen. So last year when we did this workshop, one of the devotees in Hyderabad told me, Prabhuji, I've been sitting in this posture and chanting, and I'm miserable because I know inside my consciousness there is battle going on. I'm trying to hear, but because I'm sitting in a right posture, everyone is coming and appreciating me. What attentive chanting you're doing. And I'm saying, no Baba, I'm still battling inside. But just that posture helps a lot. Okay? So now we are seeing the verses. Suchodeshe pratishthape stiram asanamatmana natyachuchitram nyati nicham chailajya kushottaram tattekaagramam manakritva yatachitendriya kriya upavishasane yunjat yogam atma vishuddhaye. Establishing his own solid asana. Atmana stiram asanam pratishthapi. You should have a solid asana, not a moving asana. With a clean place, suchodeshe. Not too high, not too low. So little height is good. With kusha, then deer skin and cloth on top. So you can have your own asana mat and sit on that. Sitting on the asana, concentrating the mind in one point. For us, concentrating on the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Controlling the activities of the mind and senses. One should engage in yoga for purification of consciousness. Now the next verse. Samam kaya shiro grivam dharayan achalam stira sampreksha nasikagram san disascha anvalokayan prashantatma vigatabhir brahmachari vrate stita manah sanyamya machitto yukta asita matpara. Keeping the body, hand and the neck straight and motionless. Motionless. Now, after this class, tomorrow morning, when we all sit here, we will see, Now, one of the sannyasis was giving this class, and he was mentioning that the head should not shake at all. So there is, sattvic chanting, rajasic chanting and tamasic chanting. And let me explain you within the posture, just, this is the Dhyan Mudra. We all know this is the Dhyan Mudra. And when you sit in Dhyan Mudra, again, when you sit in Dhyan Mudra, the way you sit in this Dhyan Mudra, you can just tell whether he is in Satuguna, Rajaguna or Tamaguna. Even when you are sitting in a Dhyan Mudra like this. A person, if he is in this Dhyan Mudra, of course one of the hands, left hand is in the Dhyan Mudra, other is in the bead. If this finger goes down even a little bit, then you go in Tamagun. So you need not see whether the person is sleeping. Just by seeing the finger, you can understand whether he has gone to sleep. Got the point? Some of the devotees, while chanting, what to speak of finger going down, the whole head goes down. in sleep. What to say now? Even if the finger goes a little down, then it is tamaguna. And if you hold on stiff, like this, sometimes, then it is rajaguna. It has to be relaxed and calm, fully relaxed. This is satuguna. Sometimes, when you are chanting, I have seen devotees like as though they are not calling Krishna, they are fighting with Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. You have seen that? So one has to sit in Satguna posture. The samam, kaya. Kaya means the torso, the upper portion. Kaya, shiro, grivam, neck and the head. All three should be in straight line. And you have to be little up. Now for your kind information, you have to do the breathing exercises also, the inhaling and exhaling before you begin the chanting, because it helps in calming down the mind and focusing to hear the mantra. It helps. So you can do the few breathings of the pranayam or the anilom vilom, and then if you're chanting and if you're shaking your head, I feel you're calling Krishna and Krishna is coming here saying, don't come, don't come, don't come. When you say something you don't want, no, you shake your head like that. I feel like that. So, when you start chanting, the energy is flowing in the spinal cord. And if you're shaking your head, your lungs are going to get affected. Remember that. If you are chanting with your head down, your stomach airs are going to get affected. That's why most of the ashram inmates have stomach problems. Every ashram I know. The stomach airs get disturbed. So you have to chant with straight erect, the head straight, a little up, then the vibration of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the energy which is flowing in the spinal cord, that will go up and go out, and it will radiate on your face in the form of ojas. But if you are chanting, in the Rajaguna, then it will affect this region because the energy gets blocked here, the spinal cord, the energy which is flowing. And if your head is down, then it will affect the stomach airs, especially the Saman Vayu. And that Saman Vayu is disturbed, the stomach is disturbed. And that creates a lot of health issues. So, Prabhuji told me, Prashant Prabhu, when he started chanting, he had some health issues. So yesterday I was explaining what is the reason, why he had that health issues. So one has to, sit in the posture which is in the mode of goodness and keeping the kaya, shira and grivam in straight line. One has to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. How difficult it is. But this is needed for our hearing of the mantra. It helps, it aids, it helps. So this has to be practiced, and this also will take its time to do that. So another thing is here, this is cha anvalokayan. If you are seeing here and there, then what happens? Now suppose, you are sitting in front of Tulsi and you are chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and for a moment you look this side and somebody comes in. A student comes in. Oh, this is our IYF devotee. I had preached him and he has started coming to the temple. All the conversation in the mind starts, and your chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is also going on. So the moment you move to another direction, disha, then what happens? The mind reel starts. And that's why here it is mentioned, disha cha anvalokayan. Without looking in other directions. So this is our level 1 japa exercise. I have skipped the level 2 because level 2 is on a little higher level, and when I last year explained, they could not practice it also. But of course we will discuss in our, because we do actually in our workshops, we break into sessions and we sit, and after explaining we practice these sessions, how to sit in that posture and chant one mantra. So we do that. So level 2 is on a higher level and we'll skip that. So this is very important so that we can hear attentively. Okay, any questions on this? Any questions, any clarifications? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, my goodness. Any burning questions? Raise your hands. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Yes, Prabhuji. Mike. Prabhuji, where is my water bottle? My bottle, where is my bottle? I got my bottle.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji mentioned Ashtanga Yoga system. So in that there is a thing called pranayama. So how does it's a daily exercise or does it help or not? Even if a pranayama yoga or any exercise anybody likes, how does it help the consciousness while doing yoga?
See, we are not Ashtanga yogis where we are practicing the Ashta Angas as a sadhana to attain sadhya. We are Bhakti yogis who are practicing sadhana bhakti to attain Krishna prem. But practicing regular exercises, asanas and pranayams, of course one has to master asanas before he starts doing pranayam. Because pranayam means you are dealing with the subtle airs in the body. And without the mastering without regulating the gross body, trying to regulate the subtle body is not good. So one has to learn under a teacher. Basic pranayam exercises, 1 or 2, 3 you can do. So you have to learn, because by that what happens, the mind becomes more and more still, so that you can ultimately hear the mantra. And that's why it is mentioned, it aids in our chanting. So that is why we use that as an aid. We use it as an assistant to help us, achieve chanting. So that's why we use it. Is it okay?
I see personally people don't do anything, any exercise and all. But still, and they struggle also in that. But they don't realize the importance of it, how we do it.
No, that is up to the individual. If he wants to maintain as a health thing, doing the exercises for good health, if he's doing, it is for that purpose. And also it helps you to sit in proper posture. Now, how many devotees here who are sitting, they are sitting in a straight posture, you think? None of us. Some are like this, some are like this, some hands are like this. So even if the hand goes down, that is tamaguna, sign of tamaguna, while chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So hand has to be like this, if you want to, because you have to chant in the mode of goodness. So it helps. Yes, Saket Prabhuji, you have a question?
So now we can see we are not chanting, but still sitting straight, erect for 2 minutes became so difficult for the body.
Yes.
How can we expect that 2 hours? Now 2 hours after the one mantra, it will not take 2 hours of chanting. That is also there. It will take far longer. To sit for so long in straight erect position.
It is a matter of practice. As you practice, then slowly it will happen. When I joined, when I sat like this, and it was paining like anything, and I said, how you can do? Now I can sit for 2 hours without any effort.
My question is, should we push the body to be
No,
straight or should we...
no, you have to learn how to do the asanas and slowly practice, and over a period of time, when you attain a little mastery over the body, then it becomes natural. In fact, when you sit in this kind of an asana and start chanting, you will literally feel that you are flying. Okay, you're not in the ground level, you're completely on a different plane. You're completely lifted up, you know. So that is what is required for chanting. Okay. There was one question somewhere here. Yes, Venkat Govind Prabhuji has a question.
I don't need a mic, I can answer it.
Uh-huh.
Please chanting while walking in chanting. Because many senior devotees want to do
Is chanting while walking recommended? Japa walks. Japa walk will turn into Japa talk. So, I have heard various answers from various sannyasis about it, and there is a Shastric answer also for this. Of course, they are also speaking from Shastra. Now, the principle is that, as this verse we quoted, that if you want to, be absorbed in dhyan, in meditation, it is only by sitting in asana. Only by sitting it is possible. We saw that quotation, right? Right? We saw that quotation. So, even to do chanting, the best thing is to sit and chant. Now, for some, because of health reasons, because of age factor and some other factors, you know, it is difficult to sit for a long time. They have to walk. But have you observed, if you're walking, your consciousness is a little driven to, see what is ahead, right? So the consciousness is there. And to absorb your consciousness in the holy name is a little difficult. So, what you have to do is that you have to select a place where you can walk blindly. That means you don't put your effort in consciousness to look what is ahead. You can just move back and forth without, even with your closed eyes. That kind of a space you should find out and then do your chanting if it is very difficult. Okay? So that is the best thing to do in your chanting. Because, and you have to look down now. One thing is you have to look down only that, you know, portion where you have to walk ahead because there is no obstacles. That's why better to walk in a place, I told, where, you can walk blindly, I said. Otherwise, see, if suppose you're walking like this and chanting, somebody also is walking on the other direction. So when you're walking ahead, you're conscious that he's also coming, so I should hold back. So when you're conscious of that, then you're not conscious of the holy name. You got the point? So it is difficult then to do that there. But there is no other way and I have to walk and chant, then this is the best thing you should do. Now, sometimes in my 16 rounds, one round, I chant walking and I'm not happy about it. I'm not satisfied and happy walking and chanting that one round also. But over a period of time, when you have attained, a certain level of, chanting, absorption, and you have attained a certain stage, there it doesn't matter. That is for very advanced devotees. They can just walk and chant and be absorbed. Over a period of time, it can happen for them. So I was mentioning that the sannyasi was telling that one should not shake the head, while chanting. It is rajasic chanting, which is right. So one devotee heard in the lecture and he told later on that sannyasi, I saw another sannyasi, when he was chanting, he was shaking his head. He was in Rajagun. So there are two things here. At an advanced stage, one might be relishing mellows in the chanting and he must be diving in that mellows, and because of that he must be shaking his head. At the other point, the sadhaka is struggling with the modes. And he is shaking his head not because of the mellows, because of the modes. The mode of Rajaguna. So we have to be very careful. So if you cannot, recognize, then better, hmm? What is that? What is that warning given? Hmm. Vigya na bujaye. Vaishnavara Kriya Mudra Vigya na bujaye. So the advanced devotees, if they are doing, like you go to a Bharatnatyam, play, and, there's a Bharatnatyam going, and because of the ragas being played, one who knows the science, he is flowing with that, and he's shaking his head. The others who don't know the science of raga, they are not able to understand what is happening. So he's not shaking his head because he's absorbed in the mellows. So like that, if you can, walk in a space where you can blindly walk and more absorb in hearing the mantra, and it helps, and you don't have any other option where you cannot sit for a long time, then that's the best I would say. Is it okay? But some devotees who have attained mastery in their japa, they have that level of absorption even while walking, they can do that chanting. I know of some devotees who can do that like that. But usually when sadhakas try to do that, you cannot absorb your consciousness in hearing the mantra. It is difficult. Okay. Is it okay for now? Are you all okay up till now? So this is the last section I am going to take. And we'll stop for now after this section. Interesting section. अनुराग ना होया पर्यंत नाम ग्रहणे यत्नेर आवश्यकता. If one has not achieved anurag, then it is required that one should chant the name with great care. So up till what stage one should, apply all these techniques, aids and assistants, until one has attained anurag. And what is this stage of anurag then? What is the stage of anurag? There is sadhu sangha, bhajan kriya, anarth nivritti, nishta, ruchi, bhava and prema. So which stage is this anurag? Anyone knows? Raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, Prabhuji. Nishta, prema. Yes. Asakti. You said ruchi and then now I changed to asakti. It's the stage of asakti. It's the stage of asakti. In the stage of nishta, one has concentration and absorption in chanting because one is in the mode of goodness. In the stage of ruchi, one has taste for chanting, and sometimes the mind wanders. But his intelligence is very sharp, he brings the mind immediately back. That is the stage of ruchi. In the stage of asakti, the mind doesn't wander at all. The mind always wanders to the lotus feet of Krishna. And there is no effort required to bring the mind back because the mind is always flowing towards the lotus feet of Krishna. That is the stage of asakti. So until one reaches the stage of asakti, one has to be very, very careful. With great care, one has to chant the holy name. Okay. Kono bhagya kono jivera shraddha yadi hoy tabe tini harinam grahana kare. By good fortune, a jiva develops enough faith to chant, take up the holy name. Shraddhavan bhakti adhikar. Yatna kari smare nam sankyara sahita tabe nama anurag hoye ta udita. One should carefully chant a prescribed number of holy names, then attraction for the holy name will arise within him. So here Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes a footnote. One should chant a fixed number of holy names on his tulsi beads. Gradually the number may be increased. So one should chant fixed number. So that's why you see initially when we took up to Krishna consciousness, we started with 1 round or 2 rounds, then 4 rounds, 8 rounds, 16 rounds, so like that. Okay. Now after 16, that science is a little different, which we will discuss in tomorrow's class. ये पर्यंत अनुराग न होय उदय से पर्यंत यत्न करी नाम सदा लोय. As long as attraction has not yet arisen, he should always chant the holy name very carefully. So as long as attraction has not arisen, one should chant very carefully. And attraction means what stage now? It is a stage of asakti. Now, let us see what Prabhupada has to say. So this name is also another incarnation of Krishna. Nama Rupe Kali Kale Krishna Avatar. Name is, because name and Krishna are not different. Abhinnatvat Nama Namina. There is no difference. Here in the material world, there is difference between the name and the substance. But Advaya Gyan, in the absolute world, there is no such distinction. The name and the person, the same, identical. So actually, when we chant Hare Krishna Mantra, we directly associate with Krishna. And you will not come to know that you are in association with Krishna. Only when somebody disturbs you, then you will realize. Because name is the incarnation of Krishna. Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar. Therefore, if we are sensible, then we should take very much respectful attitude to the name. Because Krishna, name and Krishna, the same. We should chant Kintu Adarat Anudinam. Adar means Krishna is present in the name. As Krishna, if he is present in front of me, how much I will be respectful, that much you should be respectful to the name. Suppose Krishna comes here, how much respectful we shall be immediately. So we should have that visualization and meditation. We can do this visualization before we sit for chanting. We do our breathing and we visualize that we are inviting Krishna in our house. And Krishna has come and sit before us. He is sitting before us in his asana. And now we are going to chant for his pleasure. Suppose the president comes to your house. How much your attention will be towards him? Do you attend to any other petty things? Do you attend to any other thing during that time? If you attend to any other thing, then you are committing a offense to that personality. So Krishna is there. So similarly, when we chant Hare Krishna mantra, we should know Krishna is there. But Krishna is there when you call the name, but Krishna leaves immediately. Moment, what happens? Our consciousness goes to something else. Therefore, we should be very much conscious and respectful and not neglectful. That is offense, that is a offense. If you become inattentive, that is offense. You should know this. Try to avoid. Krishna is giving us a chance to meet him in so many ways. Nama, Roop, Leela, Parikar, Vashishta. So Krishna, Nama, Roop, Avatar. So we should respect chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra with very carefulness, cautious, so that we may not commit any offense. So see Prabhupada, we should respect chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra with carefulness, cautious. 3 times he is using the same word with similar mood. Are we careful like this while chanting the holy name? Then your business is successful. This is from Nectar of Devotion lecture, Vrindavan. And this is the famous verse. Syat Krishna Madi Charitadi Sitapya Vidya pittopataptarasanasya narochikano kintvaadaratанудинam kalu saiva jushta swadvikramad bhavati tadgad moola hantri. So here the kintu adarat is there. So if you are another with the holy name, then you will commit a offense. And you have to take care and be cautious and careful till the stage of what? Anurag. Till you have attained Anurag. Till the stage of Asakti. I hope this is clear. Okay. Any questions regarding this section? One, two. Yes, Prabhuji.
In what Srila Prabhupada showed, what is the difference between with very care and carefulness?
So, Prabhuji's question is, Prabhupada saying with very care, carefulness, cautious, what is the difference? It is the same thing, but with emphasis. Be careful. Be very careful. No? So again, with very care, he has said, then carefulness, like mindfulness. So carefulness. And then cautious. So 3 times when something is said, that means we have to take it very seriously. Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama. Eva Kevalam, Kalo Nasti, Kalo Nasti, Kalo Nasti. 3 times. There's no other way, no other way. So 3 times something is said means that, to drive the point home. That's why Prabhupada has used this 3 times here. With care, carefulness, cautious. Okay? Yes, Prabhuji, you had a question?
Only like what we used to do, like I was in order to deprocess, I used to like put a timer for every round.
Okay.
So like how will it help?
The chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is beyond the jurisdiction of space and time. Now I'll ask you a question. If Krishna is going to come and associate with you, do you put a time for it? That I'm going to spend this much time only with you? Are you going to put that time limit? Yes or no? No. Right? So if you're conscious of time, the soul is what? Na jayate mriyate va kadachan. No. Nayam bhutva bhavito va na bhuya. The soul's existence is beyond, space and time. And similar is the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The Mahamantra has come from the spiritual world. Golokera Premadana Harinam Sankirtan. And you're putting a time for it. You're putting a timer, not a time. And timing it. So, I would say in the initial stages, you can, just to, sometimes, we tend to chant our rounds very fast. It's not because of ruchi. It's because of the mode of passion. Because the ruchi stage of chanting is altogether different. And sometimes we might go in the mode of ignorance. We might, instead of chanting, it is taking us 10 minutes, 12 minutes. That means, so like that, you can keep that in the little background and not, be the focus of it. So that is the best thing to do. Okay?
Then I will be able to understand like I have to just chant. Other things are very this realization.
When you understand, the importance of it, and you put all your focus and attention and absorption in it, then it will happen. You know that story of that arrow maker, right? He was sharpening the arrow, the blacksmith or whatever. He was hammering and sharpening the arrow, and the king and the entire entourage was passing by. So when the king goes out in the kingdom, all the praja get up to welcome the king. But his absorption was so deep that he didn't even notice it. So when you have that absorption, then it is possible. But for that you have to prepare your consciousness. So that will happen with the chanting only again. Okay? Okay. We'll conclude with this last section so that tomorrow we can conclude the entire discussion also. Okay? Now, yatna abhave sadhakara chitta sthir hoy na. The sadhaka who is careless cannot study the mind. निसर्गत लोक सब विषय आसक्त स्मृति काले विषय अंतरे अनुरक्त. Everyone is naturally attracted to the material sense objects. When one remembers them, smriti kale, one becomes attracted to the sense objects. The sense objects here are the sense objects that are not related to Krishna. Ruchi aya anyasthane name udasina name chitta magna nahi jape pratidina. If one is attracted to other things and is indifferent to the holy name, even if such a person chants japa every day, his heart will not be absorbed in the holy name. So now Bhaktivinoda Thakur is dealing the disease of audasinia. What is happening is, we have the soul, we have the subtle body and the gross body. In the subtle body there is the impressions of the chitta. And these impressions are going in one direction. Correct? They are pulling us in one direction. And we are now taking the holy name. We are trying to move in one direction towards Krishna. But the impressions are going in another direction. So this is our situation. Now Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes it. Chitta ek dike ar anya dike naam tahar mangala kise hoya guna dham. His thoughts will be in one direction and the holy name will be in another direction. How can that person attain the auspiciousness that is the abode of all that is good? Chitta ekadike, nama ekadike. This is our position while chanting. Right? Yes or no? You can all relate to this. लक्ष्य नाम हैल पूर्ण संख्या माला गनी हृदय नहिल रस बिंद गुण मणि. Even though he chants a lakh, 64 rounds of holy names on his beads, not a drop of taste for the precious jewel like holy name will be produced in their hearts. Why? Chitta ekadike, naam ekadike. Keep on chanting, 64 rounds. Not a drop of nectar is produced in the heart. Now, how you know that you have tasted the nectar of the holy name? Raise your hands. How do you know then you have tasted the nectar of the holy name? Yes, Prabhuji.
When you don't want to stop chanting, you want to continue.
Okay. Yes, Prabhuji.
Audacity, indifference is due to lack of faith. So when we get attracted, we are very attentive towards the
We are attracted to the holy name.
It is very attentive.
Holy name. Yes, Prabhuji. Same answer. Any other answer? Yes.
When we don't realize when the rounds are over.
When we don't realize when the rounds are over. Yes, Prabhuji.
But activated, you can take more than 60 rounds and 70 rounds. There's no limit. If you want to do from a conscience.
Okay. Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
This taste of spirituality
sign of
The mic is not there. Where is the mic?
Distaste to the material activities
Okay,
reduced, then
distaste.
only attain.
Okay, distaste to material activities. Yes. Any other answers? Yes. Huh? Ashta Satvik Vikars. Okay. Any other answers? Yes.
internal happiness will be produced, and we can relate, we will be very happy from inside,
Okay,
and
yes.
we will be continuously happy.
Okay, all are correct.
We feel satisfaction.
Yes, all are correct.
We feel like
Yes, enough,
shines
enough,
only
enough,
one
enough,
thing.
enough, enough. So all are correct, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions that one nectar of the holy name you have taken. What is your experience? Nama vina kichu nahi chauda bhuvane. In the entire 14 planetary systems, post of Brahma, tuchya. If you feel that, then you have tested the nectar of the holy name. So all to 1 degree is all right. The moment you feel that really in your heart, even the post of Brahma, 14 planetary system, kingdom you want, you say tuchya. Then you have tasted the nectar of the holy name. Okay. Eite anavadhana doshera prakar vishaya hridaya Prabhu bada durnirvar. O Lord, Prabhu, in this kind of inattention, it is very difficult to stop the heart from being attracted to material sense objects. Okay, so here is the solution for this. This is from, these japa exercises are little different from japa sutras. These japa sutras I picked up from, many japa seminars attending. So this is the first japa sutra we should do. When you chant, what? Chant. That means you don't do anything else. When you chant, chant. The most foundational principle for good japa, the Paribhasha Sutra of japa, is to turn off your life when you chant and do nothing else but chant. Chanting is worship of Radha and Krishna. Therefore, we must be fully present in their world when we chant. So, when a businessman goes and immediately sits, on his gati, what they say, right? The moment he sits there, what happens? What happens? His consciousness is, today I have this business to do, this calls to do, everything starts flowing, just sitting in that asana. So similarly, we have our world, our home world, our office world, our kitchen world, our so many other worlds. But when we are chanting, we should chant in where? Krishna's world. So we have to create a space within our homes, within our ashrams. This is an internal space and an external space where we enter into only Krishna's world. And there we should do our chanting and no other thing at all. So I know one devotee who used to chant in a particular place and used to only sit and chant there. And when I went in that place, he was not there. Suddenly, there were vibrations I could feel. Because that space, was spiritualized. And once I went to Bangladesh, to the birthplace of Narottam Das Thakur. And we were staying there in his home. And then we went to a place where he actually wrote all his bhajans. There was a, Vata Vriksha there. And the vibrations there were completely different. So we have to enter into a space where we only do our chanting and nothing else. So we have to chant in Krishna's world. The more we are able to be present with our japa, the better our chanting will be. Inattentive chanting results from not honoring japa as a sacred relation that deserves our full attention and participation, and thus not making the sankalpa before chanting to be fully present with the holy name. Without making this sankalpa, we fight a losing battle with the mind and often end up doing courtesy japa. Now, many devotees come and confide to me, because they have their responsibilities. Morning, getting the children ready, taking them to the school, going to the factory, and then evening coming back, then getting the things for the home, and then they stood there chanting. Then they just move the counters. It becomes what? Mechanical chanting. It becomes a courtesy japa. So we have to devote time for the holy name. By making this sankalpa, the mind quiets down. So this is the sutra we have to use to become free from audacity. Okay, so it is 8:30 and we would like to stop now because we started a little late and that's why we ended up a little late. So tomorrow we will see the solution for how to become free from Audasini. What is the method? What is the procedure Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives? And then we will see Jada. And then we will see Vikshep and the procedure to come out of Vikshep. And tomorrow this workshop will be from 8 to 10 in the morning, 2 hours. And then there is a morning Sunday feast prasadam for everyone. Then the Sunday feast program is there, the afternoon Aarti and the Sunday feast program. And after that, we have the last section which is from 3 to 4. We might stretch a little bit to complete the whole discussion. We might go up till 4:30. So tomorrow morning 8 to 10 and then 3 to 4:30 you can see. And those, I would recommend the devotees to just to be in the group because we will be sharing the slides in the group so that you need not note down anything which is here on the screen and you can focus on hearing. And there are other mantra cards which we will distribute for all those who are participating in this workshop. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Nam Prabhu ki jai. If you have any other questions, you can ask. Those who would like to leave, they can leave. Is there Haribol? Is there prasadam now for the participants? There. So there is prasadam for all the participants who are attending this workshop and they can proceed for the prasadam. Those who would like to ask questions, those who would like to hear, they can stay back also. Mike, please. Only questions related to the discussion up till now.
The group has the message that the class will be 8 to 10. You get for